Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte. Today, I'm your host, Alan, and we are delighted that you've chosen to join us on this awesome April morning. And we love connecting to so many people through YouTube, Facebook, and all of our social media platforms. So I encourage you to go to our website, CSL Charlotte, put in a prayer request, and subscribe. We're always adding something new each and every week. So who are we at the Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte? First of all, we're a new thought community based on the science of mind. This science of mind philosophy was developed in the early 20th century by writer and lecturer Dr. Ernest Holmes. Dr. Holmes was a man on a mission. He combined truths and wisdom from all the world's traditions and spiritual paths and created a fresh, new way for us to look at ourselves and how we fit into this world. So if that sounds great to you, then I encourage you to just stay tuned. So what do we do here at CSL Charlotte? Well, first of all, we're a diverse community. We're open and affirming. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, gay, straight, or if you're working overtime filing tax returns this week for all those last minute people. What matters is that we like you for who you are and you can be yourself. In fact, you don't have to leave your philosophy or nature of knowledge because we use many diverse holy scriptures here, such as the Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, the Dhammapada, just to name a few examples. So why are we here at CSL Charlotte? Well, our vision is to not just talk about these teachings, but to actually live and embody these teachings and become leaders and good examples, and to train other people to be leaders so we can transform this world into a much better place. So if that sounds great to you, then I encourage you to check out our weekly conscious meetings on Tuesday evenings at 6 p.m. And we'll give you the tools to do just that, how to be the best, brightest light that you can be. So before I pass the mic over, I would like to read you the quote for the week. The key to growth is the introduction of higher dimensions of consciousness into our awareness, and that is by Lao Tzu. So with that, I eagerly pass the mic over to our radiant Reverend Rosedale Jones.
All right. Wow. Isn't that phenomenal? I like that one. Lao Tzu, that's my guy. So let's get started today. So welcome to CSL Charlotte, and you just came upon us. And if this is your first time visiting us, we are the Mind, Body, Spirit Center. Make sure you go to our website and make sure you subscribe. Hit that button and subscribe. We'll be looking forward to seeing you. And now with that being said, I would like to tell you that today we're going to focus on the quantum dance of consciousness. Now, the quantum dance of consciousness is something that you're probably figuring out. I wonder what she means, but I like doing that, giving you the title now. So, but before I do anything else, let me open up our service with an affirmative prayer. So who we're going to have doing that is our emeritus spiritual practitioner, and her name is Maureen Thurston, aka Mo. So she's going to do that prayer to set the tone for us and lead us right on into the dance. So with that being said, hold on. She's getting ready to get started. Okay, Mo, pray us in.
Okay. So let's just take a moment to still ourselves and to turn to that place within each and every one of us where we know the truth of who we are, where we recognize that we are one with that divine intelligence within all of life. And as we go into this amazing service here today, I know that each and every one of us get from this incredible message that Reverend Rosedale is going to deliver today, that we take it in and it will carry us and support us through this upcoming week. As I release and I let go, I know that everything runs smoothly and easily. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Mo. Next on our platform is our reader, Jariva Trailer, aka JT. Now, JT participates in the dance of the quantum dance of consciousness, because I know she's a yoga practitioner. So I know for a fact you gotta have that dance going on when you're moving that body in all those different directions. But our spirits have connected in a powerful way, and that's because we practice together. And I'm fascinated about that. So here's the thing. After JT's reading, listen to the song Sending You Light by Irene Young. Now, do you realize that to get into consciousness, you will fall into it very, very deeply by sending someone else the light, because it comes back and it ebbs and flows back and forth to us. But well, let's find out about that. So with that being said, we can explore that together. So JT, let it happen. Make it do what it do.
Thank you, Reverend Rosedale. Today's reading is titled Consciousness as a Divine Bridge by Reverend Rosedale Jones. Today is a good day to be consciousness. Today is the day we take a wondrous leap, not forward or backward, but inward, into that gigantic sacred space of consciousness itself. Science and spirituality are no longer distant cousins at a family reunion. They are finally dancing together with the same band. And unbelievably, one of the boldest rhythms of this dance comes from the theory called ORCHOR, short for Orchestrated Objective Reduction. That sounds fancy, doesn't it? But stay with me, because it's actually an invitation into something beautiful. ORCHOR is a theory that tells us that consciousness is not just a byproduct of the brain. Rather, it is a deeper quantum phenomenon that connects us to the entire universe. That's right. Your awareness, your spirit, and your spark is orchestrated with the rhythm of the cosmos. That includes the quiet nudge, that moment of peace, and the flash of intuition. It's not random. It's not just brain static. It is the divine whispering through the very fabric of who you are. So today, as we listen, breathe, and reflect, remember this. You are not just in the universe. The universe is also in you. So get ready to explore what it means to live from this field of consciousness. It's time to know ourselves, not just as beings who think, but as beings who feel, know, vibrate, and co-create. Because consciousness happens to be where the science of the brain meets the rhythm of the soul. Self-awareness is bigger than all of us, and that's something worth waking up to. Quote, we are not just our bodies. We are not just our brains. We are spirit. We are consciousness. Reverend Rosedale Jones. And so it is.
So beautiful. Let's just start with a short centering and relax our eyes. Relax your eyes, either taking your eyes down to your lap or just closing them. But whatever you do, just 2 minutes of your time with no distractions in your peripheral vision. And just take a nice deep breath and really, really think about that song. What about that song, Sending You Light? It's really deep for me. I'll bet your heart softened too. See, the song is just one of those things. It's not just a sweet gesture. It is actually the circulation of consciousness. It's a part of the dance that we're going to talk about. Keep letting this vibration of the song of someone sending you light or you sending someone light, and think about it as this melody is continuously moving through you. And think about that first sentence that JT read in the reading that I wrote, which says, today is a good day to be consciousness. So remember that, because that is something we know we are. When you send someone else light, you are definitely sending them a piece of your consciousness. So it's a reminder for us, and it's a reminder for us to realize that we're not separate beings, and we are dancers, and we are dancers actually in the same field of consciousness. So when you say I'm sending you light, you're doing more than just comforting me. You're actually participating in the dance, the quantum dance of consciousness with me. So send me some light and I'll send it back. So with that being said, wiggle your fingers and your toes. And now embrace your space and think about all the quantum. Do you know what quantum means? How big is it? How small is it? Well, anyway, the quantum dance is happening now on a very minute and teeny weeny level, but it's so much power in it. So how does it feel to know and to trust that we are part of something enormous and gigantic? First of all, the second question is, how would you know that quantum is around you or not? Do you feel it? Because they're the smallest elements on the planet. They're smaller than atoms, right? But they create enormous power. So quantum is smaller than atoms, like I said, but it's also the tiniest part of who we are. And it's really very profound to me. I mean, it's deliciously profound to me. Those tiny little energies are always dancing, always evolving, and always present within us 24/7. So what I like to say is that all day long, we're just there. But the only thing we have to do to recognize, to let it happen, is to realize, hey, there's something other than me besides this flesh and bones. Once we recognize that, then the science behind it all begins to prompt us to practice. It begins to prompt us to rest. It even prompts us to exercise. The quantum dance of consciousness is a big deal. So I know for a fact for me that there are these little tiny things within our field, in the field all around us, and they're dancing. And that's the quantum dance of consciousness. And they move, and we move with it. And whether you know it or not, or like to acknowledge it, move with it and dance with it. See, I also know that how to start it up. When I want to start up the dance of consciousness, I have to start with some type of spiritual practice, and I need to be in total self-awareness at that time. Because that little quantum that I feel, that those little elements that I feel is the emotions, okay? Think about it as emotions, as actually different ways of doing it. Instead of saying, well, let me look at it in a physical text. You can't. I'm going to explain that to you too, as to why we can't see it on a physical level. See, I researched deeper and I found more awesome truth. And the biggest thing I found was that consciousness is not a part of the brain. It's not the brain. It's the whole entire being and everything around us. It's every animal, it's every tree, it's every blade of grass. It was believed at one time that the brain was the seat of the mind, because that was the old science. The old science believed that before the 1900s. And that source and all those different things, they thought that source was just what you can actually see. Now it's at the point where what you don't see and you feel is where it's really coming from too, because these are tiny little quantums. So, and here's another thing. The brain's not just a tool. Actually, the brain is just a tool. And what it does is, as that tool, it actually tells us, wow, this is what to the right or to the left of us in the physical world. But it's not consciousness, because consciousness is more than the physical world. And it's just a tool of the brain. It's just a tool to express to express the physical world. Now, first of all, the mind is this consciousness. And did you know that there was a time when science and spirituality barely got along? They were like siblings who really couldn't sit at the kitchen table together. Why was that? Because science would say, hey, I want the facts. Spirituality would say, hey, I want the meaning. And it was just back and forth like that for years. And then finally, in the 1900s, when quantum physics, the early 1900s, when quantum physics came around, that's when we began to understand that consciousness is no longer a mystery. But for a long while, consciousness was a big mystery. But see, here's the thing. There are valid reasons for that back in the day because it was too tricky to science to actually measure, and it was too sacred for spirituality to explain. And that's where I get with don't try explaining. Like I said earlier, explaining is going to make it really, really difficult. Almost like I'm trying to tell you that this is a finger, but you see this. But now I want to tell you something that you don't see. Don't try to explain it, feel it, right? Here's what happened. Things started to change over the years. Now we got this concept out there, and it's called what you heard in the reading, ORCHOR. ORCH stands for orchestrated. O stands for objective, and R stands for reductive. So orchestrated objective reduction is this new science that helped to really actually open up our eyes to quantum physics. It stands for, like I'm saying again, orchestrated objective reduction. But don't worry, you don't have to remember it, but it kind of helps to understand. So when you think of orchestrated, think of symphonies. Think of how every little instrument within the symphony, within the band, plays its part, and it all comes out to a nice, smooth motion. That's pretty much how this world is going and how it's really truly made. If you're looking at consciousness, not physical. So think of quantum physics as something that's sending music to your soul, or with an orchestra. Think of an orchestra being consciousness, being quantum physics, sending this to your soul. Now, what is quantum physics? Well, it's the study of how the smallest, teeniest, itty bitty particles actually behave. It's matter, and it's also particles that you cannot even see. So quantum physics challenges the actual traditional idea that we had long, long ago that the consciousness is some part of a brain science. It is so far from the truth. That is what happened. So now what's been happening now is we have been renewed. Our whole scientific interest has been renewed, changed, and deepened. And science has begun exploring so much more. But they went beyond what's tangible, what you can see, we see me, I see you. Physical, it's gone beyond that. See, the ORCHOR suggests that consciousness has quantum processes that it does 24/7. It's just this beautiful thing. If you could actually watch some of these presentations that's all about science, you get to see how they use the machines, the probes on the humans to actually see things that you would never see in a person. You can look at different things, but anyway, we have those tiny little microbiomes inside of us. Not microbiome, microtubules inside of the brain, inside of each and every cell in our body. So many of these tiny little teeny weeny structures, they are components, and they're found in the whole entire body, okay? And they're just in our nerves. But this is how we do it. This is how I like to think of it. I like to think of it as consciousness is not just a product of the brain. It's a field that we tap into. And so it's this big, gigantic tide, if you will, in the ocean. It's like a wave you're actually riding. They get big, they get small, they go around, they go up and down. But it's actually also spirit whispering to the core of who we are, moving us, making us decide. No, not making us. We are deciding just by these whims that we can get from this power within us, surrounding us. See, this energy that's around us is constantly sending us divine messages. And as we receive these messages, we get these rhythms, these waves, and that's exactly the way the world works. with rhythms and waves that you cannot see. The same way you think of a radio or a television frequency. You can't see the frequencies going through the air, but that is exactly what consciousness is doing, going through the air where we can't really see it. And so the powerful thing about it is when we engage in spiritual practices enough, that's when we get those messages loud and clear. Then we have this perfect blend between coincidence, spiritual practice, and creating synchronicity. So with all of those things coming about, there is something magical happening within and all around us. Doesn't that kind of blow your mind just a teeny weeny bit? Why do we think that's such a big deal? Why does science think that's such a big deal? Well, for starters, it actually flips the script on what we used to think about consciousness. Everybody, the old people who viewed consciousness thought it was just the brain firing off these neurons going, signals, electrical movements, electrical things going on. But it's more to it than that. The ORCH theory is something that actually definitely challenges all of that, and you think more, even more, just think of more. It shows that consciousness is not confined to the brain, and the old view is now outdated. What excites me more is this theory brings quantum physics and spirituality together to be at the same table. And guess what? Now quantum physics is the new science. See, the OHRCH theory actually shows us that quantum physics and spirituality are able to really sit together. No egos going back and forth. Now they can see for sure that this has been like this all along. Both of the panels are agreeable, and they both have found that science and consciousness now belong together, and consciousness is not locked inside of our heads, the old theory. But here's the best part. It lines up with the ideas that it's been here all along. Right now, ORCH is starting to realize that it's lined up with this power that's been here forever. And actually, the Easterners, the Easterners and the spiritual Easterners on the other side of the planet have said this all along. But it's just that consciousness is thought of as something that if they can't tangibly see it, scientists thought, then it's not real. Now they're starting to see it's primal, it's in us, it's a part of us. It's like the breath that we breathe. It's not just a spinoff of the brain. So quantum physics is the new science, guys. Remember that. They caught us up, and we're now caught up with science, and science is now caught up with us. And now everything that spirituality has been saying all along is starting to come more to light. Maybe this is going to get more people to really think about this more than they think about politics, or they think about other things out there, because those things are not getting us to elevate. Those things are not getting us to evolve. Those things that we're actually worrying about out there, too physical. And the more physical we get, the more physical we stay. The more physical we stay, the harder it is to get into consciousness, because these little things will escape everybody. It eludes people. And it's kind of hard to explain it for me, but I want it to be explained so that it really actually comes out. Consciousness is primal, just like the breath you breathe. And so we got the dance, the quantum dance of this consciousness going around constantly and moving and doing what it does. But it also suggests that you're not a body with a soul. You are a soul that's experiencing a body. Yeah, it's the same. I am a spiritual being having human experiences. It's the same thing. But see, it's your awareness that makes this whole thing ideal. Because your awareness is not something local. It's everywhere. Your thoughts are not confined just to you. I can have the same thought that someone thousands of miles could have that the same time. Because why? Thoughts float. It's consciousness. That's what thoughts are. They're a part of a greater field of knowing. That's what thoughts are. And so once we start to get that, we start to see how now science is saying there's something bigger than life right now. They see that there's this quantum view is bigger than life itself. So just to hear the word quantum physics, remember, it's the smallest element on the planet. And they've discovered that there's much smaller than atoms. And eventually, they're going to evolve even more, I would bet, to find out more about how it's going to help people learn more about spirituality, which is what we need. Because as spiritual beings, we've always known this. We've always known it on some level that there's something bigger than us. That's the only reason why people sit up in churches all these hours. I remember growing up, going to church, being there for so many hours all day long, and then going home and eating dinner, coming back at night. We don't need all that anymore. But at the same time, people were out there looking and searching and trying to find a spiritual way. But it's here now, guys. As spiritual beings, we now know that spirituality has some very, very powerful things with it. And now science is beginning to feel it as well. So what does that mean for us now? What does it even matter? Simply, it means that consciousness is not out there somewhere. It's not somewhere else. It's not in the sky only. Consciousness is here, right here in us. It's in this very moment. It's in our breath. It's in our awareness. It's in our life. And all these particles are constantly and just dancing in us, around us, and through us forever. Now, it means that consciousness is not going to go extinct. It can't. Consciousness started with this planet, and consciousness will, if this planet goes away, consciousness will still be here, but that will never happen. Right? Because this is not the way the universe works, and to diminish itself. That is not the thing. So stop looking out there and seeing people destroying the world and thinking that they have so much power. Release that. Start to recognize that there is a dance going on. And the dance that's going on is this dance, this quantum dance, a tiny bunch of particles dancing in consciousness. Dancing with consciousness. So, and also might want to see it as the mind is no longer a cage. It has become this big, spacious, and sacred cathedral, if you will. And then what happens is consciousness is now the music inside this cathedral. Consciousness is that organ that's playing, that's really resonating with every being. Everything that we hear, see, and feel is in here, but we don't listen to it. We're watching the news. We're watching the weather. We're watching this person doing what they're doing instead of getting involved with the quantum dance of consciousness. Release the old ideas, because the mind is not in a box. I love the example of the cathedral, because it's like playing music. I love thinking about music. That's the only way I could really actually see it for myself. It's music for our very own being. So when you are seeing the awareness of who you are and what you're doing, that's consciousness playing. When you decide that I'm needing a deep breath, I need to breathe, that's consciousness playing, dancing within you, telling you, hey, breathe, hey, stop, hey, slow it down. Every thought is a vibration. Every intention is the sound moving through spirit. Every time we listen, the music of that in our cathedral starts, and we could really actually go with the beat of what's going on in the quantum dance of consciousness. But just remember, we are always moving in the quantum dance of consciousness. We're not separate from each other. We're moving together. Sometimes we're dancing together. But one of the biggest things I do know is we as humans are the echo of the song of consciousness. We're echoing everything. And you heard what happened, what JT's reading said was, that's right, your awareness, your spirit, your spark, is orchestrated with the rhythm of cosmos. Think about that word orchestrated as bands, as symphonies. This includes that quiet little nudge you might get, the moment of peace that flashes through you, this little bit of intuition you might feel every now and then, like, oh, I just thought that. It's really not random. These things are not random. I know it seems like it could be. Nothing that happens is random, but you got to use that to think to yourself, wait a minute, how do I get out of this? How do I remove from myself? You got to use it. It's the divine whispering to us through the very core of us, the very fabric of our being. So when we do that, how will we know? For me, about me, as soon as I sit down and I practice and I know I'm doing it, I get to choreograph that dance with the dance of consciousness, because I love having that time by myself, because I can feel it. When I'm feeling good, there's the dance. There's the quantum dance of consciousness. When I'm feeling like I got it, ooh, boom, got that. That's the quantum dance of consciousness. When I feel that, that's interesting that I saw so and so and I was just thinking about them 5 minutes ago and I saw them. That's the quantum dance of consciousness. There are all things that's constantly happen. They're not random. The more we know about consciousness unfolding, the louder and clearer it becomes. But here's the thing, the more we learn about consciousness, the more we have to learn how to be brave. And a lot of people are afraid to be brave enough to speak boldly about the truth of who they are, not hiding and shrinking because you're thinking, well, if I tell them that I believe, that I know for a fact that my life is going to be great, they're going to look at me like I'm crazy. Yeah, they do look. But you got to say to yourself, well, look at you. I'd rather feel this way than look the way you're looking, perplexed about it. Whatever. But by showing who you are at the deepest and most radiant level of our being, you'll see for yourself that you are consciousness itself. All you got to do is show people who and what you believe at your deepest level and be brave. It's very scary for people to tell people things like this. But you'd rather tell them how that person cut you off down the street. Think about it. You'd rather tell them how I'm so angry with my husband or my wife. You'd rather tell them I hate my boss than to tell them I know for a fact that there's this power within me that is so powerful. I dance wait, what was the thing that Simba? I was watching The Lion King. Yeah, I dance in the vision of fears. I dance in that because I'm marveling in it. Instead of saying things like, yeah, I know, I don't know, that's gonna look pretty bad. That's really tough for you. I don't know if you're gonna make that. No, I marvel at this. I just laugh in the face of fear. Whatever. Change it. Because that's when you are consciousness. That's when you are actually in the quantum dance of consciousness. When you have that surety, when you have that confidence, when you have that truth going for you, you are now in the quantum dance of consciousness. See, we're not waiting for some greater power to descend upon us. We are the power. We are the dance of we are the quantum dance of consciousness. We are consciousness in motion, the vibration of the divine in human form. Now, I like it. I like saying it because it sounds so good, but I like to see people actually say, hey, look, I did that. I practiced. I want to see how it feels. And look what happened to me. I became so powerful. I got so powerful, way beyond anything I could imagine I could have done. See, we are powerful beyond measure. The truth is we must live, talk about what we do, and not shrink back. Some people may look, like I said, may look at me sideways and think I lost it. What's up? But me, I know better. Do you? Will you? Just like me, I know you're brave enough to keep dancing to the beat, but are you brave enough to speak out and let the words fall out of your mouth and let people tell you who you are? Because you trust that rhythm. The minute you do, you now are able to speak and know and talk about anything you want, especially when it comes to this. See, you are the participant today in the quantum dance of consciousness. So even with the smallest particles that are inside that you cannot see, that you're not even sure that's even there, you're dancing with intention. When you decide that I'm going to sit and do a spiritual practice here and then actually let that thing manifest without getting in the way with your physical thoughts, it's on you. So be brave. Say it, live it, and shine it. Because every time you do, guess what happens? Somebody else remembers that they can do it too. Why not be brave and show other people that, yes, I'm bold enough to have this discussion. I can have this topic. This is a topic that was kind of tough to talk about, but I'm bold enough to have it. I'm ready to get more and more out there with it. What about you? So listen to and follow the songs Brave by Sara Bareilles. Yes, indeed. I want to see everybody be brave. I was watching Alan just doing the whole dance with his little twin in here today. That was pretty cool. But you know what? Remember what she said? You could be the backlash of somebody's lack of love just because if you be the way you want to be, and they said, "Oh, you're just ridiculous." If you want to talk about the consciousness and you want to talk about that, I'm telling you, it's going to broaden your world. It's going to make it bigger than ever. And I'm telling you, things that's happened in my life has been broader than I've ever experienced because I've had that conversation with people that were open. And if they weren't open, they became open and receptive eventually. But it's just the thing. We have to start speaking up because just like she said in that song, say what you want to say, let the words fall out and be brave and so that you can grow and do what you need to do. Back up, folks, to taking care of each other. All righty, cool beans. So with that being said, guys, you heard it all. I mean, you got to be brave, but you also got to recognize there's a lot to us than just that meets the eye, and it's not all physical. So anyway, big shout outs to all of our team, for everyone for being here this morning. Thank you, Alan, for doing the MC, and for Mo. Thank you for bringing us in with that beautiful prayer as you started, as well as the platform prayer. And thank you, JT, for that reading, which really opened us up to the main topic. But I'm not done with that topic yet. But it did great wonders. Thank you, JT, so much. And thanks, Timmy P, for the music and the announcements, and Melissa for spotlighting and greeting and all of that stuff for us. And and Mo, I'm so glad that you're going to be waiting for people's emails out there that's going to be coming in because I'm noticing that people are now coming in now with more prayer requests from possibly the YouTube. So keep going, guys, sending them in. We'll definitely take them. And like I always say, if you have not received a prayer request from Mo, you have not put in a prayer request to CSL Charlotte. Go to our website, cslcharlotte.org. And the last thing I want to talk about before we close out is just a brief reminder. Today was about that quantum dance with consciousness. Remember that during the week. Don't be afraid to think about how powerful you are and to let people know in the times of trouble, in the times of your stress, that I know I'm pulling through this thing, hook, line, and sinker, and it's going to be all right for me. It's all right for me already. So remember that and begin thinking about it in terms of love, because love is in its purest form. It is the purest form of life. It really is. And in that dance with that quantum, with the quantum consciousness dance is so powerful if you can muster up that love and really get yourself involved. So expanding and building the most important love is self-love. It reduces stress. It lowers your heart rate. It enhances your mood. Get into it because right now you have to understand in order to really be able to express yourself, you got to have that self-love. But the most important, it's the greatest love of all. That's what it is. And I want you to get used to that idea in this next song because this self-love is the greatest love you'll ever have. And it's going to have you dancing the quantum dance of consciousness. So get with it and listen to this song, the last closeout song. Well, yes. Okay. There we go. Learning to love ourselves is the greatest love of all, especially when you are feeling yourself in the quantum dance of consciousness. Mo, are you ready to pray us out? Please do.
Thank you, Reverend Rosedale. Another great service. So as we close out this wonderful time that we've spent here together today, I know that each and every one of us go into this rest of this Sunday, and we are filled with the light and the love of pure spirit, leading us and guiding us, and always there to support us on this amazing journey called life. So as I release and I let go, I call this service blessed. I call each and every one of us to know that we do what is ours to do with an open heart, with an open mind, and come from that place of just caring for our fellow man. I release, I let go, I let God, and I am filled with gratitude for this day and for each and every one of you who continually touch my life. And so it is.
So it is. And so it is. So, guys, as we wrap up our time together today, let's remember the dance, the quantum dance of consciousness. It's not just an idea, it's a way to accentuate your bliss, your feelings, your energy, your love for yourself, gratitude, and pleasure. So know that an emotion that's sparked by gratitude, it creates love, it creates healing, it aligns us in the quantum dance of consciousness. So this week, move forward with the awareness and and activate your truth and know who you are and know and feel when you are the one having that quantum dance with consciousness at any given time. Remember, the universe is constantly supporting you on your journey. And with that, by the time we meet again, start that dance with the quantum dance of consciousness. And so it is.